In Song of Solomon by Toni Morrison, there is a character named Pilate who is alienated from all the other characters in the novel because she is very different, both physically and mentally. She has her own way of doing things and doesn't like it when people get in her way, but also has no problem moving them if they choose not to. Pilate protects her family and her belongings with her life, unafraid of the consequences. Pilate was born in a very different way than the rest of the characters in the book. She was born after her mother had passed away, which is very unnatural. Some characters in the book say that she just crawled right out of her mother's womb, just when everyone assumed that both Pilate and Sing were deceased. Pilate's life is not at all simple, because there are always people talking about her because she is so different, and it makes them want to talk more. Pilate grew up on a farm with her father Jake, or Macon the first, and her brother Macon the second. She was walked to a neighbor's house every day by her brother so that he could work alongside his father on Lincoln's Heaven. As they got older, they developed a strong relationship, but all of that changed when their father died. When Pilate and her brother, Macon II, were 10 and 12, their father was killed by white men who wanted his land. The men who killed Macon tricked him into signing a paper to sell them his land, and because he could not read, he did it without knowing that he had sold his land. After their father died, Pilate and Macon went to Circe's, an old neighbor lady who was the housemaid in the Butler mansion. She had them there for 2 weeks, hiding them, taking care of them as much as she could, without anyone realizing they were there. In the time they were there, Pilate had held onto the page of the Bible where her name was chosen from. It was tradition to pick a random page in the Bible and put your finger down on that page without looking. Whichever name your finger was closest to was that name of your child. When Pilate's parents were choosing a name, Macon the first's father was laid on the Bible page, and his wife, Sing, did not like the name that was chosen through this random name-choosing tradition, because it was the name of the man who sent Jesus to be crucified. They fought over it, but their daughter still ended up being named Pilate. Before Pilate and Macon left Circe's house, Pilate had Circe find someone who could make an earring for her out of a brass box she had so that she could always have the Bible page with her name close to her. Circe got a blacksmith to fashion the box onto a pin from a brooch so that Pilate could wear it. We later discover that Reverend Cooper's father was the one who fashioned the earring for her. After a while, Pilate and Macon became restless of staying inside, doing nothing all day, so they agreed that after Pilate's ear healed, they would take to the forest. As they were roaming through the forest, they found a cave, and in it a man, whom Macon killed because he resembled their father, but had also been following them for days upon days. Then they found a lot of gold, which Pilate assumed belonged to the man Macon had just killed. Macon suggested that they take the gold for themselves so they could become rich and buy whatever they wanted to. But Pilate got upset with him because she thought it wouldn't be a good idea to steal the gold. She told him that maybe the men who killed their father would come after them too. Then they got into a fight, and Macon ended up staying outside of the cave for 3 days, until he went inside to look for Pilate and found that she was gone, along with the gold. Years later, when Milkman was talking to his father about the sack of inheritance that Pilate had hanging from her ceiling in her house, his father became very interested, because he thought that it might be the gold that she had stolen from the cave when they were younger. Guitar and Milkman devise a plan to sneak into Pilate's house and steal the green sack so they can become rich. When they look inside the sack, they find that there is no gold but the bones of a white man. They get caught by the police after they have stolen it, and Pilate comes and bails them out. They are both very surprised that she, of all people, would be the one to bail them out of jail for something they stole from her. When she is bailing them out, she tells the police a story that may or may not be true about how the contents of the green sack are the bones of her husband, and that she is only carrying them around because she didn't have enough money to buy a coffin, or even a box to bury him in. Another way that Pilate is very different from all the other characters is because she does not have a navel. A few years after she left her brother, a lady sees that she does not have a belly button, and everyone shuns her. She is told to leave the town because she was in, because to have a navel means that you are born natural, and because she does not have one, they don't understand what she is. This is the first time Pilate realizes that she isn't normal, and that it isn't normal to not have a navel. She thought that it was just another thing that made girls and boys different from each other.